Friday, everyone. Welcome back to Newsroom Weekly Review. I'm your host, Chella, and I'm with your Middle East entertainment news. This weekend, many friends and families will be celebrating the 4th of July. According to Google, on July 8th, 1776, the first public reading of the declarations were held in Philadelphia Independence Square to the ringing of bells and band music. 1 year later, on the 4th, 1777, Philadelphia marked Independence Day by joining Congress and celebrating with bonfires, bells, and fireworks. This weekend should be fun for everyone, including the kids. Now let's take a look at what's going on in the Middle East. According to NAS regarding Baghdad Peoples on Friday, Italian Prime Minister Mario Draghi accepted the invitation of Iraqi Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kazemi to visit the capital, Baghdad, while praising the role of Iraq government in claiming the region. A statement by the media office of Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kazemi, a copy of which was received by NAS, said July 2nd that al-Kazemi met today the Italian Prime Minister Mario Draghi in the Italian capital Rome. According to the statement, al-Kazemi expressed his appreciation for the Italian role within the international coalition to combat ISIS terrorist gangs and the support provided to the Iraqi forces in the aspect, and indicated that Iraq is looking forward to the greater role for Italy during the next stage. He explained that Iraq is willing to expand military cooperation with Italy, including the aspects of training and working developments in the field of combat organized crime and prosecuting money smuggling and other prohibited activities, and to benefit from its experience in the field. He said that Iraq welcomes a greater role for the Italian companies and investments in Iraq, especially in the fields of infrastructure, and the acceleration of ongoing consultations for the railway's extension project, Basra, Turkey, linked to the port of Fa. He also welcomed the development of corporations within the Italian side in the field of dam maintenance, oil, energy, tourism, etc., as well as Iraqi's desire to activate direct air transports between Baghdad and Rome. Al-Kazemi extended an invitation to the Iraqi Prime Minister to visit Baghdad, and Mr. Mario Draghi welcomed the invitation and promised to meet as soon as possible. Draghi expressed his happiness with the visit of Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kazemi to Rome and their support for the Iraqs with all the needs in terms of investment, reconstruction, training, and other sectors. He praised the role of the current Iraqi government headed by Mr. al-Kazemi in restoring Iraq's international relations and its great efforts to calm the region. And in the picture provided, we can speculate they are both extremely happy to work together. Also reported from NAS Baghdad People, the Minister of Finance, Ali Awahi, discussed with the Secretary General of the International Customs Organizations the development of work of Iraqi customs. And the ministry stated in a statement that NAS received a copy of on July 2nd that the sidelines of Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kazemi's tour of the European Unions, and with aim of strengthening corporations between Iraq and international communities. Finance Minister Ali Awahi met yesterday, Thursday, by the Secretary General of the World Customs Organizations, Mr. Kunio Makiria. The statement added that during the meeting, they discussed ways and mechanisms to raise the level of cooperations between the international customs organizations and Iraq customs. The statement indicated that during the meeting, the minister reviewed plans to develop custom work in Iraq according to the latest programs and efforts made in order to keep pace with the latest findings of global custom regulations, which recently resulted in Iraq signing a contract for the ASYCUDA systems for automating custom work within the United Nations Organization for Trade and Development. Makiria praised Finance Minister Alahi's visions and efforts related to developing and reforming the custom systems in Iraq, similar to the rest of the developed countries. And next we're going to do a reading from NL News. A spokesman for the National Union Bloc in the House of Representatives, Bakhtiar Shal-Ays, revealed that the federal government wants to send 200 billion dinars in the form of an advance to the Kurdish region. Sha'a's told Turkish media that the federal government wants to send 200 billion dinars in the form of an advance to the Turkish region. So when the decision reached the Federal Ministry of Finance, not signed the decision of the pretext that it would be subject to legal accountability. And for this reason, the fate of sending 200 billion dinars from Baghdad to Turkish region is not clear and specific. Sha'a's added that according to the law, only the Ministry of Finance can sign the money to be sent to the region. Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kazimi had decided a few days ago to send 200 billion dinars to the Turkish region, but the decision remains in the Federal Ministry of Finance and is not ready to sign for sending that amount. The Iraqi governors in the center of the South are suffering from not sending the funds allocated in the budget to the revised services, electricity, and unemployment. Taking a look at Mwanzi News Baghdad, Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kazimi met today with His Holiness Pope Francis, and the Prime Minister's office stated in a statement that Mwanzi News received a copy of that al-Kazimi expressed his thanks to His Holiness the Pope for the warm welcome and reception, and praised that the Pope's historic visit to Iraq and the message it contains in support of the country and emphasizes the unity of humanity and aspiration for peace and coexistence and standing in the face of extremism in all its forms. The statement confirmed that al-Kazimi indicated that Iraq's government commitment to work to consolidate Iraq's Christians and other minorities in their lands as an essential part of the fabric of societies, and to facilitate the return of the displaced and immigrants from them to their areas of origins, as well as to work to urge the Iraqi church authorities to activate their humanitarian activities, especially educating and health, and to provide all the help she needs. He added that al-Kazimi made it clear to the Pope that the government is going to reconstruct the ancient churches that were destroyed by the terrorist gangs of ISIS, in addition to the government's serious efforts to reconstruct the city of Ur due to its historic importance, and to be prepared to receive Christian dialogue in the cities, and between the importance of taking measures and providing this necessity facilities to group terrorists and religious groups to the ancient city of Ur. For his part, His Holiness Pope Francis welcomed Mr. al-Kazimi and accompanied delegations, stressing the importance of strengthening peace efforts in the regions in a way that achieves prosperity and stability for the people. Al-Kazimi also met with Prime Minister of the Vatican State Cardinal Pietro Parolin. During the meeting, they discussed bilateral relations, enhancing cooperations and the joint coordinations to facilitate the grouping of tourist and religious groups to the historic city of Ur. His Excellence renewed the call for the Supreme Parliament Dialogue Committee between Iraq and the Vatican to hold its third meeting in Baghdad this year. And it looks though al-Kazimi has been very busy. According to Shafaq News, the media office of Iraq Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kazimi said in a brief statement that arrived on Thursday in the Italian capital of Rome that the visit's as a part of a European tour, and that al-Kazimi stated on Tuesday with his arrival in Belgium capital Brussels. The Iraqi Prime Minister met in Brussels with Belgian officials, leaders, and representatives of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO. Al-Kazimi called during his meeting in Brussels to expand NATO's mission in the Iraq, enhance the efficiency of Iraq's armed forces in the face of terrorism. This is Al-Kazimi's second European tour since the formation of the government in May of 2020, as he conducted his first tour last October, and it included the countries of France, Britain, and Germany. In a reading from Kyrgyzstan 24 News, Washington, D.C. Kyrgyzstan 24 reports Robert Palladino is about to become America's new consul general in Erbil. He will assume the position in July when he replaces Robert Waller, the reporter known Palladino from when he served as State Department deputy spokesman. Typically, there are many more journalists with questions than time to answer them, and the majority U.S. and international medias have first claimed on their briefing attentions. Yet the brief in Palladino regularly took questions from Kyrgyzstan 24 and with equal regularity. He gave thoughtful and considerate responses, so when the Kyrgyzstan 24 heard that he will have been appointed to head the consulate in Erbil, we reached out to him to learn how he viewed his new position. Palladino responded was indeed as thoughtful and considerate as his answers to Kyrgyzstan 24's questions in the State Department briefing, strengthening the bonds between the United States and the Kyrgyzstan region. I am proud America long-standing and historic partnership with Iraq Kurdish people, Palladino said, and I look forward to serving as the next American consul general and to strengthen the bonds between the United States and Iraq's Kyrgyzstan region. Like many Americans, I have long admired the Kyrgyz people's ambition and determination. He continued before describing how the perspective related to the conduct in the press briefing was the State Department's deputy spokesperson from 2019 to 2020. I had press briefings from American and international journalists, Palladino said. And during those briefings, I made deliberate points to always call on the journalists from Kyrgyzstan 24. I wanted everyone to hear the questions from Kyrgyz media and wanted the United States to speak to the Kyrgyz people. Preparing for the assignments in Erbil on his first visit to Erbil in January 2019, accompanied by the Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo. As Palladino explained, I was truly struck by the region's natural beauty and the incredible people. Over the past few months, I have studied the Kyrgyz language, history, and cultures, he continued, and my admiration for the Kyrgyz people has grown. Based on my past experience with Kyrgyz people and their generous hospitality, I am looking forward to returning to the Iraqi Kyrgyzstan region to serve as the next American Consul General, he concluded. Palladino's background. Palladino's most recent served as Chief of Staff of Deputy Secretary of State. Before that, he was the State Department Deputy Spokesperson, and before that, Acting National Security Council Spokesperson. He is a career diplomat who has worked on key foreign policy and the national security challenges across Asia, Europe, and the Middle East. Palladino has served in a variety of positions in the East Asian and Pacific Affairs bureaus at the State Department in Washington, as well as overseas in China, Vietnam, and Italy. He speaks Italian and pretty soon will have Kyrgyz as well. Palladino is a graduate of University of Notre Dame, the Washington and Lee University of Law, and the U.S. Army War College before joining the State Department. He practiced law in East Asia, Europe, and the U.S. Army Judge Advocate General, JAG, JAGS Corp. This is the Macy's Day last year's 4th of July display. That's a wrap for this week's review. You've been watching Newsroom Weekly Review, your Middle East entertainment news. I'm Chella. I'm excited for this weekend, as many people are. The 4th of July and all the beautiful fireworks, the gathering of friends and family. Everyone, please be extremely careful not to burn yourself letting off those wonderful displays. Enjoy your long weekend holiday. I will see you guys next Friday at 4 p.m. for your next newsroom update. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm signing off. Thank you. Take care. Make sure you join us Fridays, 4 p.m. with Newsroom Updates with Chella Smith, Entertainment News. And don't forget us on Sundays for What's Cooking in the Kitchen. You can also find us behind the scenes 24/7 on Snapchat.